Remember, Swami Akhandananda has been in Bombay, and he had talked about the young man who wanted initiation, and he told him to walk the length of India, who was later, he told him, very good, but can you journey on foot to Konkal and join the ashram there? So that was Swami Sarvagatananda, and he did. He walked barefoot up to Konkal, which is half the length of India. Okay, so on the next page, 282, about halfway down, Swami Akhandananda and his devotees were given a hearty send-off on the day of their departure. Then Swami Akhandananda started back to Calcutta. He stopped at the Nagpur ashram for 3 days at the request of the head of the ashram. There he initiated some specially selected devotees. He said to some students there who desired to be initiated, "Come to Sargachi." The Swami reached Calcutta by the end of November, and again stayed at the home of the South Calcutta devotee. On the last day of his visit to Bellarmine, while getting into the motor car, he said, "Next time, no more to places like Bombay. It will be a longer journey and all alone." Apprehensive glances were exchanged by those present at these portentous words. On the afternoon of 3rd December, the train for Sargachi steamed slowly out of the Silda station in Calcutta, with Swami Akhandananda and 2 attendants aboard. There were resounding shouts of victory by sadhus and devotees who had come to see them off. The party reached their destination at 8:30 p.m., and everyone at the ashram was happy to have their Baba back after an absence of about 2 months. Baba, means father. Binod Ki tour was ready to be opened on New Year's Day. Swami Akhandananda informed Binod Babu. Thus, on the first day of 1935, Binod Kutir was opened with an impressive procession. In a speech which he gave on this occasion, Swami Akhandananda highly eulogized Binod Babu's generous nature. A devotee from East Bengal received initiation and was staying in the ashram for a few days. While talking with the Swami, he said, "I don't find your name in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna." The Swami replied, not without some humor, "Then you conclude that I never saw the Master?" The embarrassed devotee sat speechless, looking at him. The Swami then said, "The writer of the Gospel, M., went to the Master usually on Sundays and holidays. We generally went there on weekdays and stayed with him for the night. If there were too many householders in the room on such days, the Master would ask me to have a walk outside or to meditate in a temple nearby." So, you see, in order to get the whole picture, you have to read the Great Master, because that talks about who all was there when M wasn't. At the time, a weekly newspaper was publishing articles in a series under the caption, "History of the Ramakrishna Mission." It contained erroneous statements about the early days of the mission, particularly in regard to the famine relief in Mahula. Swami Akhandananda regretted this and said, "It is a pity they print such erroneous things about our work, even in our lifetime." That very day, he decided to put into print everything he knew about the mission, as well as a detailed account of his own work. He dedicated a short article to his secretary, mentioning how he had gone to Mahula from Alam Bazar, how the relief work began on Annapurna Puja Day, how the orphanage was later opened, how the ashram was finally built, and how the temple came to be constructed. The article was read at a meeting on 19 May 1935 in connection with the annual celebration of Sargachi. It was later printed in pamphlet form under the title Seva Vrata. Many devotees from Calcutta, Burhanpur, and Krishnanagar attended this festival. The thought of the education of the masses had long occupied Swami Akhandananda's mind. He was aware that as texts for use in schools, the two ancient epics of India, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, were excellently appropriate. In December, he brought a pundit to the ashram. The pundit had a good voice, and readings from the Ramayana were held in the ashram courtyard every afternoon for 3 hours. The reading program continued for more than a month and a half. February 1936 was to mark the 100th year since the advent of Sri Ramakrishna. A strong and representative committee of sadhus and devotees was formed to plan for the celebration of the centenary in various parts of the world. Swami Akhandananda was elected its president. It was planned that the inauguration of the centenary would take place at Bellarmine on the birth anniversary of Sri Ramakrishna, and would be followed by celebrations around the world, then finally to be concluded at Calcutta and Bellarmine in March 1937. In January 1936, Miss Josephine MacLeod, that's Tontine, who lived here in the United States as well as back and forth, an intimate American admirer of Swami Vivekananda, went to the Sargachi ashram to see Swami Akhandananda. They sat on the floor of the temple and talked of Swamiji for a long time. Towards the end of their conversation, Miss MacLeod said, "Please let me have your message for the centenary." "They want it," the Swami replied. The Swami replied, "Well, I have thought over it and come to the question, what centenary can there be for him who is without beginning or end?" Miss MacLeod replied, "Very well, this message I shall carry with me." And bidding him goodbye, she went back on the evening train. The inaugural day of the centenary was fast approaching, and letters from Calcutta were reaching Swami Akhandananda almost every day, requesting his presidential message. Early one morning, while it was still dark, he heard a voice saying, "Write this down." He lit a candle and took out his writing material. He wrote in Bengali, "This time the Lord was born in a hut. His superhuman austerities, his sadhana, and its culmination, the extraordinary powers and realization, all took place on the sacred banks of the Ganga, under the wide-spreading boughs of the Panchavati and the Bel Tree. The Sikh sentinels who kept guard over the government powder magazine with drawn swords just to the north of the sacred Dakshineshwar had the enviable good fortune to witness various sadhanas of the Lord which were hidden from other men. It was from these Sikh guards that the Lord came to be known to the public, that is, the Mawaris of Burbazar. It was at the Panchavati that he cried out in pain, 'They are beating me,' when a bullock was being beaten, and a welt was seen across his back. Here it was that he fell to the ground as he saw a heavy log being dragged across a field of tender grass. This is the culmination of universal love. That blessed day is not far off when we shall be illumined by his glory. Through the Lord's wonderful harmony of all religious ideas, the paths of action, knowledge, devotion, and meditation, the human race is advancing, knowingly or otherwise, toward salvation. That blessed day is coming when peace will reign all over the world, when all humanity at the Lord's call will shun petty quarrels, will hold on to truth, and with its inspiration make known the trumpet with trumpet voice the Lord's message, as many faiths, so many paths, and gather under the banner of the new age. Then will the whole world be blessed by realizing the purpose of the Lord's advent. This is my fervent prayer. Svasti, svasti, svasti. Peace be to the world. The message was sent out, but for want of time, only the concluding part was translated into English and circulated throughout the world. On February 23, Swami Akhandananda arrived at the Bellarmine. The following day, on the birth anniversary of Sri Ramakrishna, he inaugurated this centenary celebration. First, there was the early morning service, the Mangala Arati, in the chapel, followed by chanting from the Vedas. Swami Vivekananda's speeches and articles on Sri Ramakrishna and the message of Swami Akhandananda were broadcast over the radio and through amplifiers. Musical parties sat here and there on the monastery grounds, singing devotional songs which greatly enhanced the festive atmosphere, while streams of joyful men, women, and children came pouring into the grounds of the monastery. Worship of the gods and goddesses and of the teachers of the great world religions continued throughout the day and night. People kept flocking to see President Maharaj Swami Akhandananda. He was in a happy mood, and a divine light seemed to shine about him. People could not be satisfied with only one short glimpse of him. The night ceremonies were no less felicitous, for the divine power, or Shakti, in her 10 forms, was also worshipped in the chapel. Then followed the impressive homus ceremony before the sacrificial fire. At the auspicious moment of dawn, Swami Akhandananda entered the chapel, and initiated a number of candidates into the life of brahmacharya and sannyasa. On the following Sunday, the public festival was celebrated on a magnificent scale. That day, Swami Akhandananda felt weak and got tired easily when walking. Afterward, a specialist diagnosed the trouble as diabetes. After a month's stay at the Bellarmine, Swami Akhandananda decided to return to Sargachi. He invited the monks of the Mat to attend the Annapurna Puja there. Back at Sargachi, he began to dictate his reminiscences of Sri Ramakrishna. Next, he took up the task of giving a clear and detailed account of the beginnings of the Ramakrishna Mat and the Ramakrishna Mission. The difference between those two organizations, the Mat is the monastery portion which maintains the temples and does the worship, and the mission is the one that does the relief work and all the work in the community. The first chapter contains descriptions of the early days of the Alambazar Mat. 4 or 5 years earlier, he had dictated to a devotee the account of his travels in the Himalayas, Rajasthan, and Gujarat. Now he wrote to Sri Satish Mukherjee, proprietor of the monthly Basumati, requesting him to publish the chapters in his journal. On being asked why they should not be published in the Udbodhan, the journal of the Ramakrishna order, the Swami replied, "The Basumati is also our journal. Do you know what a great devotee of our master, Upen Babu, was?" Upen Babu, the founder of the Basumati, was the father of Satish Babu. Thereafter, along with the narrative, many rare photographs were reproduced in the succeeding issues of the Basumati. On Buddha Purnima night, 2 brahmacharyas were initiated into sannyas in the chapel of the ashram. Swami Omkarananda went there from the Bellarmine to conduct the ceremony. A few days later came the shocking news of Don Gopal Mukherjee's sudden death in America. The Swami sent an article to the Daily Basumati about the gifted Bengali writer, author of Face of Silence, the English biography of Sri Ramakrishna at that time, Caste and Outcast, an autobiography, and many other publications. He also released some of the letters he had received from Don Gopal, and facsimiles were published. As Swami Akhandananda's health was gradually deteriorating, Satish Babu of the Basumati had him placed under Kaviraji treatment and sent him the prescribed medicines regularly. The Swami blessed him heartily and often spoke of the goodness of the Son and the greatness of the Father. During 1936, the pressure of many people visiting the ashram and seeking initiation from the Swami became a regular feature. A devotee with his motherless children arrived from Calcutta a few days before the Durga Puja. The love and sympathy that the Swami showed them consoled the bereaved father, and the children were happy to be in the ashram atmosphere. From the time of the Durga Puja, Swami Akhandananda began to invite the devotees to the ashram at Sargachi and was unwilling to let them go away. The portrait of Sri Ramakrishna, considered as the embodiment of all gods and goddesses, was worshipped on the puja days. On the Vijoya Dashmi, the day when Durga returns to her heavenly home, it was observed by all that the Swami was very indrawn. A few days after the festival was over, Swami Akhilananda of the Providence Center, USA, with the devotees Bhakti, Annapurna, and Francis, paid Swami Akhandananda an unexpected visit. To discuss matters regarding the temple under construction, they had come on a trip to India. The Swami greeted them affectionately, and they were also pleased. Then came the Kali Puja on the new moon night following the Durga Puja. This was followed by the Puja of Jagadatri. At the desire of Swami Akhandananda, the puja was performed in the shrine of Sri Ramakrishna on a Banalinga Shiva, a stone image. At noon, he worshipped the Divine Mother in a little girl, offering her fruits, flowers, and sweets. These pujas of the Divine Mother, one after another, lasted for more than a month, filling the ashram with divine joy. One day there appeared at the ashram barefooted Tibetan Lama wearing a garland of Rudraksha beads around his neck, staff and bowl in his hand, and his body besmeared with ashes. He touched the head of each of the ashram inmates with his beads, giving his blessings. He said that he had come from faraway Kailash in Tibet. Another day, there came a Nepali sadhu, a Buddhist Fungi from Rangoon. A few days later, a Muslim fakir entered the compound, dressed in a blue silk robe. Last of all, there came Jashoda, the mother of Krishna, in sari and ornaments. Who could these people have been but the boy-like saint, Swami Akhandananda, playing all the parts? Even though in ill health, he was still full of fun and humor, giving joy and life to everyone at the ashram. Perhaps this fun may have had some inner significance, revealing something from within. From mid-December through January, the Swami had all the ashram devotees meet him after each evening service. One day he said, "The association of sadhus is essential. You can't have a spiritual life without it. But who is a sadhu? He who is absorbed in thoughts of God, who looks upon him alone for support, is free from pride, is chaste, and without any selfish idea. He is a sadhu. Naham, Naham, Tuhu. Not I, but thou. Do we do anything? It is He that makes us do everything. It is all His will. Truly, at every step of my life, I have realized it. Who can do anything without His will, His grace? Naham, Naham, Tuhu. These are the divine words uttered by our Master. If one repeats these words like a mantra, one will attain spiritual illumination. On meditation and concentration, he said on one occasion, our senses are all directed outwards. They must first be given some external aids and then drawn inwards. It is for this purpose that we perform puja, arati, worship with specified articles such as waving lights, making offerings, using lamps, burning incense, and offer fruits and flowers. We do all these only to keep the mind dwelling on Him, on His work. Practice, meditate on any one such idea. Imagine you are doing arati. You first worship with incense and camphor, then with a lamp, and lastly a fan. You can continue with each as long as you like. Then when you give up doing this, you can think that you are offering flowers of various kinds and colors. Think that you are putting a garland around His neck, offering Him all kinds of dishes. This continuity of thought upon an idea or object is meditation. Eat less at night. Always keep a prayerful attitude. There must always be before you this high ideal. I must see Him while I live. I must call upon Him with all earnestness, that I might not have to call on Him any more. Something loud is going over. Such were the serious... Whoa. Such were the serious topics with which he enthused the monastic and other devotees who were aspiring to live spiritual lives. During this period, a devoted married couple came to him for initiation. He gave them the advice the Master had given to Keshav Sen, advising them to aspire to an even higher life of renunciation and continence. A lady whom he had initiated wrote in a letter to him, "My desire was always to depend on God." Swami Akhandananda was glad to receive the letter and replied, "You want to leave everything to our Master. May He grant your prayer." In 17 chapters of the Gita, God instructs Arjuna on knowledge, work, devotion, and meditation. He concludes his instruction in the 18th chapter and says, at the end, Sarva Dharma Parityaya Mamekam Saranam Vraja, which means give up all duties and surrender yourself to me. Surrender. There is not a better word than this. After the letter was written, he said to the attendant who had taken the dictation, Saranagata, Saranagata, Saranagata. This is the teaching of the Gita. This is also a great mantra, so often uttered by our Master. Swami Akhandananda would call initiation Saranagati, taking shelter, and the initiated Saranagata, one who has taken shelter. Okay. On January 1st, 1937, Swami Akhandananda arrived at dawn accompanied by the 3 American ladies, as well as Swami Vivekananda from the Buenos Aires Center of Argentina. Vivekananda from the Buenos Aires, Swami Akhilananda arrived, with the 3 American ladies, as well as Swami Vivekananda. With him were also Swamis Omkarananda and Gangeshananda from the Bellarmine Mott, and Swami Prakashananda, who had come to receive Swami Akhandananda's blessing before going to America. They offered their New Year's Day homage to Swami Akhandananda, and he received them affectionately. Before they left by the evening train, Swami Akhilananda's disciples, Annapurna and Bhakti, presented him with a sofa and a wheelchair, among other things. To each of them he gave a balapos, made especially for them. And I think we'll stop there for tonight. We'll probably have one, maybe 2 more days. But did everyone see the book? Swami Ramakrishna, the Apostle of Sri Ramakrishna to the South, by Swami Tapasyananda, who was in charge of the Madras Chennai Center for years. Also one of our great scholars, translators. Okay, so this Saturday night, rather than our gospel reading, we will have Swami Tyaga Rupananda from the Ramakrishna Mission, Malda. And he will be speaking on Sri Sarda Devi, Mother of All. On Sunday, the 5th, Swami Sumanasananda, our assistant minister, will speak on Brahman alone is real. Then next Wednesday we'll have Swami Akhandananda still. And it may be the following Wednesday before we get into Swami Ramakrishnananda, or maybe even one more. So I think that's what's... that's what's coming in the very near future. And as I say, there is the Shankara's Memorial Sunday also, which you can tune into online or, I think, YouTube. I don't know. It's out of Hollywood. You'll have to look at the Hollywood bulletins to see which it is. Were there any questions about what we read today?
The last thing he offered to them, especially for them, the 2 devotees, what was that? I'm not familiar with it. Like the last sentence.
Just 1 second.
Sorry.
I'll have to get back into it. Balapos. I would imagine it's some kind of sweet.
Okay.
I don't know for sure. But that's one of the things they offer everyone is special sweets when they're leaving. And Swami Prakashananda then came to be in charge of the St. Louis Center for many years. He was considered one of the great scholars of the order. So that's where Swami Chaitanananda is now. He took over for Swami Prakashananda. Okay, then I think we'll end with our chant. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. We'll see you. Okay. Leanne, is Ava home yet? Good. Excellent.